So I was in an online meeting with 5 other colleagues, and I said, can I try out my Action Talk title with you and give me some good, positive feedback? You can criticize if you'd like. So here's the first title: Stress Kills. Nobody seemed to like that. Okay, how about this one? Install a new operating system in your brain. And someone said, since when did you become a brain surgeon? I said, how about this one? Mindfulness on steroids. And they said, isn't that an oxymoron? So the truth of the matter is, though, all those things are important. We can take our negative stresses and we can control them. It's called emotional regulation. And we can do it through a system where we change our thinking patterns and really install a different operating system in our brain. And we do it with mindfulness techniques. And I call it mindfulness throughout the day and mindfulness on steroids. Now, I'm sure all of you have experienced stress throughout the days, maybe with tech or something else, right? Okay, how many of you throughout the day on a regular basis take care of your stress? I thought so. So I'm going to invite you to reduce your stress right now. If everybody could gently breathe, put your feet flat on the floor. I will keep you safe, and just gently breathe. You can keep your eyes open or closed or a soft focus, whatever you're comfortable with. And now listen to the furthest sound away from you. Listen to the closest sound towards you, and it could even be your breath as you keep gentle breathing going. And now, try putting your hands on your lap or on your chair or something in front of you on your desktop, and just notice the texture. And now, notice that this is a hot day inside of a hot place, and what would it feel like to have a refreshing drink with ice cubes going down? Notice the flavor. And now slowly open your eyes and look around the room and find a couple of things that are the shade of blue. And as you look in the room, maybe you'll see an office mate or your family member, and just smile. And what we've done in that exercise, as you come back to the present moment, you've actually reduced your stress. And that probably took less than a minute. And throughout the day, we can be doing these exercises to reduce our stress. They don't take all day long to do. I had a very stressful life with my career as a producer and director, traveling all around the world and doing shows. And it was fun, but it was stressful. But nothing could have prepared me for the stress of helping my mom with a strange brain disease. All of a sudden, my brilliant mom during the day would then start hallucinating at night, seeing dancing bears and people in her attic. And I would take her to doctors, and the doctors would say, we don't know what's wrong with your mom. And my mom would say, it's my daughter making up these stories. There's nothing wrong with me. She called her lawyer, who called Adult Protection Services, who said, what are you doing with your mom's money? Well, during the night, my mom gave away her money to scammers, and she lost all of her personal finances. But I found gifts in those moments. I learned how to speak with doctors. I learned how to educate them on this disease called diffuse Lewy body dementia. It's related to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, and they can cross each other. And then I picked myself up again, and I started doing events for family caregivers and teaching doctors and caregivers about stress. And then my life stopped again. Like many of you, we had to pivot because of COVID. And when people ask me, Anne Marie, how did you manage to do this you know, all of these years of no income, the stress of family caregiving. And I said, I know the power of prayer, and I also had a strong faith in mindfulness. And I practiced it then, and I did today as well. They said, how did you go around the world carrying a briefcase to basically carrying your mom's briefs? I know when I even went into corporations 5 years ago, and you say the word mindfulness, and they'd say, oh no, don't bring that stuff here. If you want to know the basics of mindfulness, you can go to my computer app or website, but I'm here today to tell you that mindfulness works. You can increase the gray matter in your brain. Science shows it by meditating. And for me, that's important because if you've seen a brain at autopsy of an Alzheimer's person, it looks like Swiss cheese. You can also reduce your cortisol levels, the bad stress, activate your vagus nerve, and reduce your blood pressure if it's high. Mindfulness doesn't mean that you have to wrap yourself up like a pretzel all day long or sit on a meditation mat for hours, although those things are good for you. And the landscape of mindfulness is changing all through corporations around America because they have to help people in wellness with brain fitness. It's also changing in our schools. Sometimes because of politics, it's not called mindfulness. It's called giving children quiet time or social emotional learning. Or there's a Peace PACS program going out through the schools, which is really mindfulness based. Corporations, like that little exercise that we did, sometimes they're starting meetings like that by doing these little exercises and centering everybody because it lowers stress. And that's what we want, our engaged employees not doing quiet quitting, but those that are happy and those that can reduce their stress and emotional regulation. Mindfulness, even I've heard of an apartment developer who's starting quiet rooms in the complex where people can go in and there's waterfalls in the background in the room, quiet, beautiful music, massage chairs. And the rule is you go into that room or the campus that you're working at and no one speaks. You just settle yourself down. All of these things I'm talking about is science-based. It's proven through brain scans, through blood tests, blood pressure tests, and other type of studies. There's a program that I really love called Positive Intelligence. And there was a man, Shirzad Chamine, who was part of a coaching institute. He ran it for many, many years, well respected. And through Stanford University, he did all of this research on how we can see the negative stresses and the positive stresses in our brain and how we can control it. Now, negative stress, again, our thoughts and emotion, controls the physiology in our body. Science proves that. And through these little mindfulness PQ techniques, we get to go into our sage and inner wisdom and change our negative thoughts to positive ones. It's like installing a brain operating system, and it only takes 6 weeks. And after that, everybody has a lot of fun learning about themselves. In fact, C-suite executives at like Microsoft or P&G, other companies, and smaller ones as well, and government agencies, are now using this technique. And then the C-suite executives see how well it works for them, that they bring it into their teams. I think a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs of smaller companies don't always have access to these things or know about them. But if you go to positiveintelligence.com, you can read all of the research and the science, and you can learn how to become involved. If you go take the Saboteur assessment, contact me and we'll have some fun doing that. What the Saboteur assessment is identifying the way that we think and look at the world. We might be a stickler, we could be a hyperachiever, we could be all sorts of things, but when we know who we are and what we are, we can communicate better with each other. Mindfulness is taking the world by storm, but mindfulness itself has not changed. It's still about having that awareness of living in the present moment, moment to moment, looking at things with curiosity and non-judgment. And that's so much better for ourselves in controlling our stress and the way we work with people around us. I love mindfulness, but I really appreciate it when I can share my gifts with others. My mom, during that journey, she often said I was her lifeline to the outside world. And she said, I need you now, but your time will come. And I think it's my time now to share my gifts and learn about your gifts with each other. Just take a deep breath many times during the day. Learn about easy ways that you can become healthy and reduce your own stress. And my wish for you is that you can enjoy your own moments to mindfulness. Thank you very much, and namaste.